Shilajit has been known as the conqueror of mountains and destroyer of weaknesses. What is exactly this black tar that a lot of people are consuming nowadays? What is this super adaptogen, potent medicine, tonic herb? It's many, many things. It's rejuvenating, it's anti-aging, it's energizing, detoxifying. It increases vitality and lifespan. It also has an amazing balancing and toning effect on all aspects of not just the body or the mind, but the body and mind as a whole. It's also has a lot of potent effects on health and longevity. And I'm gonna be sharing with you what my personal experience has been with Shilajit, what it is, what's in it, not too much science, but a little bit of science in there, and how you can start implementing it and using it in your own daily life. And I'm gonna be including an amazing recipe that you can use Shilajit with to not only have a great synergistic effect with all the other things that are in this recipe, but also to mask the weird taste of Shilajit. So for those of you who are meeting me for the first time, I want to say welcome. Thank you for watching. All my videos, all my content is based around biohacking, a ketogenic lifestyle, supplementation, really any tools, practices, protocols that we can do to upgrade our minds, our bodies, our spirits, to upgrade our consciousness, to live a long time, to look good while doing it, to perform really at our peak state. And if you're into that kind of content, I would appreciate if you considered subscribing to my channel. But before I ask for your subscription, allow me to earn it by giving you a valuable piece of content like I'm gonna do right now. So as I said, Shilajit, the conqueror of mountains, destroyer of weaknesses. It's been known in and used very much in ancient Ayurvedic and Tibetan medicine. Originally, what Shilajit is a thick black tar-like substance, legit like tar. Not too slimy, but very just thick, and it looks like you would make asphalt with it. And what it is, essentially, is organic plant matter, just compounded, compiled over millions and millions of years in the cracks of the Himalayan mountains. It's also found in other regions in Tibet, as well as places in Pakistan and things like that. But going back millions of years, when the soil, when the plants were actually nutrient, beneficial acid, dense and rich, imagine that just compiled over time. It gets stuck in the cracks and it makes this thick, super black, pungent, smoky tar. And how it was originally discovered is super interesting. Villagers in these Himalayan regions would notice that monkeys would climb to dangerously tall altitudes to harvest and to lick the side of the mountain for this black tar substance. And they noticed that the monkeys were more wise, more peaceful, but also more robust and just more vital. And that's exactly what I personally experienced as well. So that's how it first kind of became on people's radar, that this could potentially be something that we could consume. And then with the beauty of technology, we've been able to actually dive into Shilajit and find what's in it and what's making these things happen and why it's such an amazing, rejuvenating, beautiful, energizing, super adaptogen herb, food, whatever you want to call it. I have a couple notes here on my phone that I'm going to be sharing with you. Now, Shilajit, I first consumed about 6 months ago. When I first had it, I made a cup of rosemary, bulletproof coffee, had some C8 caprylic acid in there, some ketones, grass-fed butter, rosemary, all these beneficial compounds. I mixed a heaping teaspoon of Shilajit powder in there for my first time, which is a big dose. And I was outside in my backyard. I was almost completely naked. I was doing some sunbathing, practiced my sun gazing. I had DHA in my system, so I was saturated with DHA so I could absorb the photons from the sun. I was grounded, connected to the earth, and no phone, no anything. It was just me. I wanted to experience this potent herb, and I wanted to have a really good time. I wanted to be with the herb and with myself, and I didn't want any distraction. So I was back there, grounded in the sun with my coffee, and I was drinking it about 3/4 of the way down. I was having an amazing experience. I wouldn't say psychedelic because it doesn't get you high or anything like that, obviously, but it was almost like a psychedelic feeling. I just was having this intense experience where I had never felt so connected. I had never felt so grounded to my source, to myself, to my life, what was happening. I felt incredible, and I was almost getting emotional, just kind of a rush and just these tears of absolute joy and happiness, of enlightenment and being awakened. And I know those sound very woo-woo words, but once you experience it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And ever since then, I've had Shilajit pretty much every single day. I did cycle off of it. Like with anything, we need to experiment as biohackers, and we take something for a while, notice a difference. We stop taking it, notice a difference. Start taking it again, notice a difference, to validate some of the things that we were feeling. And I noticed that again and again. And with Shilajit, you really get to feel the potent effects of it in the beginning when you first start taking it. Then after that, that feeling of amazingness becomes your baseline, and then you feel like that all the time, which is amazing. And it's like, whoa, I'm having this intense experience. I don't want to say intense because that might intimidate some people. It's not stimulating in that sort of way, but just I'm having this experience where I feel so connected, so grounded, so just damn ready to go all the time. And that's my new baseline. But in the beginning, obviously that was new to me. So the beginning is when you really get to feel the potent effects of Shilajit. But let me break down what's actually in it, and then I'll talk a little bit more about my experience with it. So Shilajit itself is, like I said, I told you it's a thick black tar. And what's in it, I have some notes here to keep me on track. It's basically full of a lot of different really beneficial compounds that really aren't found in our foods nowadays. They're just not. Organic minerals, they're, depending on where you source it from in the harvest, between 70 and 80 plus trace ionic minerals. A lot of us are mineral deficient nowadays. If you think you're getting all your food, your nutrients, your vitamins, your minerals from whole foods, like, that's not the case anymore. I have a video on that I uploaded. I'll put a card here on why supplementation is necessary. And if you say you get all your nutrients, all your vitamins from whole foods, I don't need a supplement, I eat, a great paleo whole food diet. That's not the case. You're not getting all your vitamins, your minerals, your nutrients from whole foods anymore. It's simply not a reality. I don't expect that video to get a lot of views because that's a red pill video. It's a truth that's hard to swallow, but it's the truth. And that's why supplementation is key. And this is a great one to have kind of in your arsenal. It's jam-packed with antioxidants, polyphenols, triterpenes, and then some compound called dibenzo alpha pyrones, which basically target the mitochondria specifically and upgrade their efficiency. Mitochondria, remember, are the power plant of the cells. It's the battery of the cells. It's what gives us our energy. If you have mitochondrial dysfunction, that's the background, that's the layer, that's the start for every single disease: cancer, Alzheimer's, just brain dysfunction, anxiety, depression, autoimmune issues. That all starts with mitochondrial dysfunction. And so if you can have something, a compound that directly targets the mitochondria to upgrade their efficiency, very key. That's the dibenzo alpha pyrones. I'm gonna get more into that in a minute here. It's also rich in fulvic acid, and as well as it contains humic acid. Now, if you look up Shilajit, a lot of things you're gonna hear about are fulvic acid. And this very beneficial acid for us. Fulvic acid increases the selective permeability of cell membranes. So let's think about that. Let's break that down. That sounds fancy, but let's break it down. Selective permeability of cell membranes. It's permeability. What's permeable? You can mold, you can shift, you can kind of make it what you want it to make it. It's malleable. You can shift it, right? Selective. You get to select what's happening, right? So selective permeability of the cell membranes. And what that means, what that translates to, is that it can put things exactly where they need to go. It can put the good stuff, the vitamins, the nutrients, the minerals, exactly where they need to go and deeper into the cells, while at the same time helps remove toxins, pathogens, and waste matter from the cells. So we talk about conqueror of mountains, destroyer of weaknesses. Think about that as decreasing what you have in excess and increasing what you are deficient in. It's that balancing and toning effect that I mentioned on just the whole body and mind together as a whole. And that's one main ingredient for that is the fulvic acid. So think of that as decalcification. We have way too much calcium. Think about NPK fertilizer that's being used to grow all of our produce. Think about tap water being used to grow all of our produce. Think about acid rain. The foods are super calcified. If we're eating fruits and vegetables all day long, that's great. That's better than eating Doritos. But then you have to take the red pill and see the truth that there's way too much calcium, inorganic calcium, that our body doesn't recognize, that's stored. So we're calcified. Our glands, our pineal gland is calcified. Our tissues are calcified. When you press on your skin, when you have, let's say someone's stepping on your thigh muscles and it hurts, right? You pinch your skin, it hurts. It's not supposed to hurt. That's calcification. Those are these small, tiny calcium crystals poking at the tissue, and then you get bruised. That's what it is. So look up calcification. Dr. Robert Kusar has great information on that and how to decalcify, but Shilajit helps decalcify you, so going based off that, it keeps the cells, the glands, and the organs vital and youthful and full of energy, making them a lot more efficient because it drives deeper the good stuff and puts it exactly where they need to go, and it helps remove the excess calcium, the excess whatever, the toxins, the waste matter that we don't need, that is not serving us in any way. It's actually harming us. So that is a major part of the longevity aspect of Shilajit and fulvic acid. It also increases the assimilation and the digestion and the availability of other stuff that you take it with. So for example, it's not just increasing and driving deep the rich antioxidants and minerals that are found in Shilajit, but if you take it with other compounds, with whatever you consume Shilajit with, it's going to drive those nutrients, vitamins, minerals deeper as well. That's why the recipe that I'm going to be talking about is super key and is a great just synergistic effect. Now let's talk about humic acid. Humic acid is a great natural chelator, okay, which binds and breaks down toxic chemicals and heavy metals in the body. This is key for the world that we live in because there's an abomination going on. The world is way more toxic than you think, and so is the food, unfortunately. That's not to be an alarmist or anything, that's just the truth, and there's mitigations. Humic acid, Shilajit, is a mitigation for that. Help chelate, help bind to and detoxify and get rid of some of these heavy metals, these toxins. Think about the food toxins. Think about glyphosate. That's pretty much everywhere. Think about environmental toxins. Think about tap water. Think about bathing in tap water. If you don't have a shower filter on your shower yet, go watch that video. It's scary what's in the tap water, especially if you're living in a big city like I do in Los Angeles. It's crazy. So there's never been more of a need for these beneficial acids. A lot of people talk about being alkaline. You need to be on a raw vegan alkaline diet or alkaline water. That's great, yes. Bicarbonate is a great alkaline ion, and that's fantastic. But some of these acids are super beneficial, just like in coffee. Chlorogenic acid, super beneficial for the body. Humic acid, fulvic acid, yes, they're acids, but they're super beneficial. Now, dibenzoyl alpha pyrones, what I talked about earlier. It's part of why Shilajit has an anti-allergy and antimicrobial effects. It's also why the dibenzoyl alpha pyrones are also why you get a boost of vitality and energy because, like I said, these directly target the mitochondria. So it gives you a real available source of energy. As soon as you take it, it's like, whoa, I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm rejuvenated. I'm vital. I'm robust. I'm all these amazing words that I can use to describe it. It helps reduce fatigue. It's really good at giving the immune system a huge boost as well. It's great for allergies, the way that it works with the cells that are sensitive to allergies. It like upregulates them. It's crazy. Dibenzoyl alpha pyrones also induce apoptosis or cell death, so killing off dead cells that are not serving us any longer. Shilajit is also great with regulating the secretion of HCl or hydrochloric acid, while at the same time rebuilding the mucus lining in the gut. So this is great, HCl. A lot of people take that with their meals because they have stomach acid issues, or if you have ulcers or something like that, this is great for that as well. And it's also, this is something I want to personally touch on, it's also great for libido and fertility. It's known as a Jing herb in traditional Chinese medicine. And like I said, these herbs, these Jing herbs are great for libido and fertility. Now, those are just some of the compounds and proven things in Shilajit, but if you continue to dive into the benefits, the boost in testosterone, what it does, forget for a second all of the studies and clinical trials and research that has, I don't know, clinical trials maybe, but all the research that has been done on Shilajit, and just experience it. Just experience it. Forget what the white paper says. Try it for yourself and experience it because it's life-changing. And going back now to my experience with Shilajit, some of the things that I noticed, I feel completely renewed. Rejuvenated is the key word. My consciousness has been upgraded. I'm more acceptable to the hard truths. I'm more acceptable to or connected to my source. You can call that God, you can call that the universe, but it's a spiritual awakening. One thing that I also noticed too is that, let's be real, sex performance through the roof. It's gone up completely. And it's funny because I got a DM just this morning from a friend of mine who was like, dude, I've been taking Shilajit per your recommendation for the last 2 weeks straight. And dude, like it's almost like I can't, it's what he was saying. It's just great. And I experienced the same thing. And basically what it was, it's just that sexual performance goes through the roof. It's incredible. It's great. I'm loving it. If that alone for men isn't a great reason to take Shilajit, like your sex performance, your boners go through the roof, your erections are a lot harder, you last a lot longer. It's amazing. I'm loving it, and the girlfriend's loving it as well. Going based off that, it's also great for women and sex performance as well as fertility. So for anyone who wants to get pregnant or wants to have babies in the future, it's great to start kind of introducing this into your diet. That's one of the things that I noticed. Now, on the flip side of the coin though, when I first started taking Shilajit, I was 22, right? So I'm a 22-year-old young male with with healthy testosterone levels and blah, 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 blah. There's been times, and I'm sure a lot of different people have experienced this, where my sexual cravings were just way too high. Like I couldn't concentrate on certain things. I had trouble kind of transferring that energy to use it for my mission and to get work done. When I started taking Shilajit, it completely balanced that for me. Completely balanced that for me. It's not like it decreased my sexual cravings, although it did, but it's not like it was in a bad way. I could have used them decreased. And I've heard this the opposite with people where their libido was too low. They had no sexual cravings. They couldn't perform. They couldn't do anything, taking it and then increasing it for them. So it goes back to that balancing thing. I had way too much sexual craving. I couldn't even fucking concentrate on certain things on certain times of the day when my girlfriend was in the room or whatever, right? Like just being totally real with you. And then now it was like, okay, cool. I can finally keep calm, focused, collected. I felt a better way, a better shift in transferring this energy, how they say in Taoism and as well as in the book Think and Grow Rich, they say men can use their sexual cravings and that sexual energy and transmute it so that they can have energy and drive and motivation to get work done for their purpose in life. And I've experienced that completely. But on the same side of the coin, my sexual performance completely went up, right? Which is amazing. So it's like, I was like, wanted sex less, but my performance went kind of way high. So it was like this weird kind of balance. And it's just been amazing for me personally. One aspect of it, but the great benefit, but the main thing for me was the whole energy, just the complete sense of awakeness. And it's been absolutely fun for me. It's been amazing. It's been going back to that word rejuvenating. And so is there anyone, there's also benefits for it for like fasting blood glucose and diabetes patients. There's just so many benefits. If I talked about every single benefit of Shilajit, it would be a 30-minute long video, and I'm trying to wrap this up within the next 3 minutes. So what is the best form of Shilajit? You can get the tar. Yes, there has been a lot of shadiness going on in the Shilajit product space. There has been rat feces found in some Shilajit products as a filler because it's just a black tar, right? I'm gonna share with you my favorite way to consume it from one of the best brands. And the company is called Omega Organics. This is a company that I love. They did not reach out to me. This is not a paid thing or anything like that. I use their shower filter. It's one of the best for taking out chlorine and all the different toxins that are in shower filters, but company with super high integrity, and they make amazing products. The only Shilajit I take is from them. The only stevia that I take is from them. The reason I love theirs is because they have a lease up in the Himalayan mountains where they harvest it themselves, and they make the tar and they sell the tar in a little container, and that's great for traveling. But personally for me, I love to use the Shilajit powder. Now, most Shilajit powders I would not recommend. I only recommend the one from Omega for a couple of reasons. It's raw Shilajit, even though it's a powder, because the way that they extract it, from the way they turn it from the tar to this powder is only with warm water. No toxic alcohols, hexane or neurotoxic alcohols or anything like that. And the whole process is kept under 94 degrees. So it's still maintained raw. It's not super heated or processed. Warm water extracted, and the reason there's a benefit to using the powder versus the tar is that this is completely water soluble, and one of the best ways to take Shilajit is with coffee, not only because it masks the taste, but Shilajit is an excellent driver as an excellent delivery system for compounds, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, like I said earlier, and so is coffee. You know, you combine the two, not only do you mask the taste, but you get this amazing synergistic effect with the coffee, with the caffeine. Granted that it's a good, high quality coffee. Now, in terms of recipe and how you can use this, I'm gonna put a link for this down below. A great recipe is to brew a cup of rosemary bulletproof coffee, okay? And so how you do that is when you brew your coffee, throw some fresh organic rosemary leaves in with the coffee. Whether you're doing a drip, pour over, or a French press, just throw it in with the grounds, with the coffee grinds, and then let that brew for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then pour it into a blender, this rosemary black coffee. Add a tablespoon of grass-fed butter, add a tablespoon of brain octane oil, so you're making this rosemary bulletproof coffee, and then add a serving of Shilajit. Now, what I've noticed is that the people who have been on this health journey for a while already, who are already eating a clean diet, kind of take some supplements, they already practice some of these protocols, and you already are essentially clean, right? They notice the effects of Shilajit a lot more, and they can often start with a bigger dose. If you are maybe, you know, just starting your journey, start with the lower dose. The recommended dose on this is a 1/4 teaspoon. When I first took it, it was a heaping teaspoon. That's why I had such an amazing experience. But use your best judgment. So add whatever serving, 1/2 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon, full teaspoon, a little spoonful, whatever you want, into there, and then blend that up a little bit. And now you have yourself an amazing tonic, a concoction. It's the high quality coffee. You get the chlorogenic acid. You get all the beneficial polyphenols and antioxidants that are found in coffee that can help with so many different things, mobilizing free-form fatty acids, a cognitive boost, just super great for even autophagy as well. If you're going to be fasting, just exclude the brain octane in the butter, black coffee, rosemary, and Shilajit. You got yourself an amazing morning breakfast for a fasted state. That's what I did this morning. That's what you saw in the B-roll. But then the grass-fed butter, you got the vitamins K, A, E, D, brain octane oil, you got the ketones. The Shilajit is not only bringing its own nutritional benefit, but it's helping drive all of that deeper into the body, and you're gonna have an amazing breakfast. And if you really wanna take it to the next level, take that breakfast, take that cup, go outside, put your feet barefoot in the grass and get some sunlight, and make sure you're saturated with DHA so that you can actually absorb the photons so that your brain's working at full potential. Make sure that the integrity of your cell membranes is strong and well put together. Shilajit, DHA, coffee, sunlight, grounding. You've got yourself a recipe for an upgraded consciousness. And that has been completely my experience, and it's been completely my experience with my friends' experience who have kind of taking Shilajit per my recommendation on Instagram. I get a bunch of DMs like, yo, this stuff rocks. I'm noticing this, and that. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope I was able to shed some light on Shilajit and give it in a kind of a practical way. If there's anything that you need, just leave a comment down below or hit me up on Instagram at Stephen Ray Warren. If you're this far into the video, I would appreciate if you hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell. I go live pretty often now and release a video a week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. I love you. Have a great rest of your day.